If anyone still had doubts that for the past 4 years Poland has been directly involved in a hybrid war, I think that on September 10th, 2025, they can finally put those doubts to rest. Yes, Poland is a participant in a hybrid war. For 4 years, this war has been taking place on land. I'm talking here about Poland's borders. And on the other hand, at sea. I'm referring here to the activities of the Russian fleet, the attempt to destabilize, ladies and gentlemen, the so-called shadow fleet, of course, and the destabilization of the situation in the Baltic Sea. And since September 10th or even earlier, we know that we are also participating in a hybrid war in the air. We are also involved in this hybrid war on a social level. Issues of disinformation in the public sphere, issues of disinformation in the internet and in many online tools are the best proof of this. The significant Russian drone attack that occurred on September 10th in the year 2025, as you all undoubtedly know very well, and now the broader public is also fully aware of this fact, was in essence a crucial test, a profound and challenging test that the Russian Federation deliberately put us through. And I personally have a very strong and clear impression that as the nation of Poland, we successfully passed this important test on that specific date, September 10th, 2025, demonstrating our resilience and capability. However, there are also many things that we should do, especially in terms of Poland's security and defense, and this council is precisely meant to serve such solutions. Our first duty, mine as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, but also as the President of Poland and of the entire government in Poland, dear citizens, is, of course, to ensure the safety of the civilian population, and that has also been accomplished. I want to strongly and unequivocally warn, especially the general public, but also all of us, not to fall for insidious Russian disinformation and propaganda. This war is truly taking place in the information space as well. We cannot fall for Russian disinformation, which for the past 24 hours has been suggesting that the drones attacking Polish airspace are Ukrainian in order to drag Poland into the war. From all the available information I currently possess, ladies and gentlemen, this assertion is simply an outright lie, and I strongly warn all of you not to inadvertently fall for this pervasive disinformation.
And of course, today we paid a lot of attention to the attack that the Russians carried out against Poland yesterday. Almost 24 drones. In my opinion, it was deliberate. There is a complete analysis of the drones' flight paths. More and more details are emerging about the design of the specific drones that Russia used. And all of this indicates that Russia's launch of drones into Polish territory, both through Ukrainian territory and also through Belarusian territory, was deliberate and precise, not an accident. Russian and Belarusian military exercises have already effectively begun on the territory of Belarus. We are monitoring this in Ukraine. Our military is tracking the movement of Russian equipment and the development of military infrastructure. The purpose of such actions by Russia is definitely not defensive and is clearly directed not only against Ukraine. Everyone in Europe feels that Russia unfortunately has the capability to continue and expand its aggression. Therefore, steps need to be taken. Ukraine is ready to share its experience and expand production. Ukraine is now actively offering to all European countries, including our immediate neighbors, and of course the neighboring nations of Russia, a comprehensive and collaborative joint program specifically designed to finance the crucial production and further development of advanced drones and effective interceptors. Ukraine.
Yesterday we witnessed something that will have a broader resonance across Europe. Russian drones entered Polish territory, violating its borders. We have not seen this before, at least not with such means. Poland has initiated consultations under Article 4 of the NATO treaty. And of course, Finland stands with Poland. We support it. I spoke with President Naraki and Prime Minister Tusk about this issue, and I also had a conversation with Secretary General Mark Rutte. Our strategy continues to follow 2 tracks. The first track is further military, financial, and political support for Ukraine. In addition, we are certainly doing a lot diplomatically together with Mr. Volodymyr, with the President of the United States, or with other European partners. The second track is further increased pressure on Russia's war economy. The good news in this regard is that the sanctions are working. The sanctions are effective. The Russian economy is in very poor condition, with inflation and interest rates above 20%. The nation of Russia is currently heading toward a significant economic recession. This particular situation means that the country's war economy has effectively stalled and is no longer progressing as intended. And we must continue to put pressure on Russia, on the Russian economy, because as we all know, the only thing Putin understands is force. And this sanctions pressure, even with the 19th package from the EU. By the way, on Thursday in Paris, we spoke with President Trump about the need to continue working to exert even greater economic pressure on Russia. When it comes to defense planning and defense operations, we review this weekly, monthly, and annually. We have learned a great deal from the war that has been taking place on your territory for more than 3.5 years. And undoubtedly, we have primarily joined NATO. This is the most important step, and it might not have happened for a long time if Russia had not attacked Ukraine. As President and the Supreme Commander of our armed forces, I bear direct responsibility for our defense. I believe, and I can tell you, that we are in good shape in the air, at sea, and on land. We continue to develop our planning, and undoubtedly drones are a major part of this. As the NATO Secretary General said, he spoke yesterday about this audacity, the fact that now, for the first time, perhaps with our participation at least, we are taking part in consultations under Article 4. This is evidence that we are ready to provide deterrence. And what about future attacks, possible attacks? We will continue to develop and create what is necessary. In the end, how long will Russia keep provoking us? There will be hybrid operations or perhaps undersea actions involving cables.
In my opinion, they could also have done this to prevent partners from transferring air defense systems to Ukraine before winter. Because by demonstrating that they can attack us, they're also saying that we need these systems too. That sounds very much like Putin. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure that's actually the case. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Yes, and in my view, the scariest thing is that this attack resembles what happened in Crimea.
What this teaches us is what we've been talking about regularly for at least 2 years now. That we are under constant threat from provocations by Russian armed forces in Baltic airspace, in the Baltic Sea, underwater, but also in Central Europe through hybrid attacks or through such flights. We are preparing for this. We are cooperating with the Poles in consultations under Article 4. We support this approach because we believe it is the right thing to do. Signals need to be sent here.
What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland?
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake, but regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
Yes, as I said, a full assessment is ongoing. But of course, whether it was intentionally or not, it is absolutely reckless. It is absolutely dangerous. But as I said, the full assessment is ongoing. And to Putin, I mean, my message is clear. Stop the war in Ukraine. Stop the escalating war, which he is now basically mounting on innocent civilians and civilian infrastructure. Stop violating Allied airspace and know that we stand ready, that we are vigilant and that we will defend every inch of NATO territory.